What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. Hope you're all staying safe, using common sense, all that good stuff, washing your hands. Still have the crap going on. Doesn't look like it's going anywhere. A good time to kind of march through and show off some of this stuff. Some of these just stacks of stuff that I've been meaning to show off. Finding time to do so now. Have another little stack that I'm going to show you guys today. Um, Most of this stuff came from eBay. I think all the kind of odd and end type stuff all over the place. So it's not going to be me highlighting a specific storefront or distro or seller. It's all just kind of odd and end stuff that I picked up along the way. I will get in the description and at least show the albums and album titles, artists and album titles in the order that I show them. That way, if you see something, don't quite understand what I say, that type of stuff, and you want to check it out on your own, you can do so. Had a dog hair on my shirt. Okay. Also got this pretty nice Anephrines shirt from Bandcamp. This is one for the bleakness of our constant. Still available on their Bandcamp if you want to pick one of those up. Pretty nice shirt, and it wasn't very expensive at all. All right, getting into it. The first album that I'm going to show today is some classic Death Doom out of New York. I believe this was originally released around 1992. This is Sorrow with Hatred and Disgust. This is the reissue, obviously. At one point or another, I did have the original press. I wish I still had it in my collection, but I do not. This was re-released in, I think, 2011 on Metal Mind Productions. This was limited to 2,000 copies. Let's see, as you may or may, there we go. I have copy number 499 out of 2,000. Fantastic old school death metal, hinged in doom. I mean, it's just classic death doom metal. This has bonus tracks. It also has the Forgotten Sunrise EP on this as well. I wish I had those like on two separate discs. Sometimes I don't like the album to play, like swap over and play the next demo or whatever. But still, glad to have this back in the collection. Fantastic stuff. Sorrow with Hatred and Disgust. Just riff based death doom metal. I mean, so many riffs in that. Just crunchy riffs, old school. Next up, we have a black metal band that's kind of captured my heart a bit. If you're into Panopticon, Alda, that type of stuff, I'm sure you already know this band. This is Skagos. This is their full-length release entitled Anarchic. This came out in 2013. Just kind of black metal mixed with folk and even some like post-rock stuff going on in this as well. They're able to mesh that together so well. This album is just breathtaking. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. I already own the split they did with Panopticon, and I own the previous full length of this entitled Ast or Ost, and that was an amazing. I was listening to that one day. I was just kind of sitting here. It was a cold day. Had it Ost going on the stereo. I was like, man, I really need to add some more Skagos to my collection. And went online and found this going for a fairly good price and went ahead and snagged it. Phenomenal stuff. Sometimes I feel like they out Panopticon, if that makes any sense whatsoever. One of my favorite projects going right now, and I say going right now, they haven't released material in quite some time, so hopefully we'll get something new from Skagos in the future. Fantastic stuff, amazing stuff. Definitely check that out if you have not done so. Next up, we have a black metal band out of Germany. I was kind of reintroduced to this band through the one of the most recent Metalhead boxes. I received a shirt from this band. Kind of re-sparked that interest. As I mean, I want to go back and kind of rediscover their discography because I had not listened to them in ages. And their newest release came out last year. Had I had this in my hands last year, this would undoubtedly have been on my end of the year list. It is that good. It's phenomenal stuff. This is Darkened Nocturnal Slaughtercult with Mardom. As I said, just black metal out of Germany, kind of a throwback to that classic Scandinavian black metal sound. Just amazing kind of occult sounding stuff. Fantastic stuff. Definitely check this out as well. I'm probably going to say that on every release in this update because I'm showing some stuff that I had to seek out and stuff that I just absolutely love. This was released on War Anthem Records. As I said, it came out last year. Definitely worth your time checking that out. Fantastic stuff. Thank you to Melissa and the team over at Metalhead Box for kind of reintroducing me to that. I may have shown that in a previous update. Couldn't remember. If I did, it was worth talking about again. So next up, these three came from. I just did a recent update on some stuff that I picked up from the eBay seller, Jagger Jones. These were three more kind of stragglers that came in a little bit later, so that I didn't have them in time for that update. First up, we have Poison Blood. This is black metal out of North Carolina here in the U.S. This is the only release from this band. Came out in 2017. It is just an EP. It's a two-member project. Um, Jinx Miller does the majority of the musicianship on this. I know he's in Horseback, probably some other uh, projects around on the Relapse roster. Relapse, I was kind of surprised to see this on Relapse Records, as Relapse doesn't tend to release just a ton of black metal. They've kind of gone back on that now and starting to release some recently. I know at one point it felt like they were kind of anti-black metal. The other member of this band, Neil Jameson, does the vocals and lyrics on this. He's been in so many black metal projects: Krieg, Royal Arch Blaspheme, NIL, fantastic stuff. Super seasoned musicians on this, and vocalists. I mean, you could tell the maturity in the release. I don't know if it was just kind of a little side project or what, but Poison Blood was really good. I hope they expand on that sometime in the future. I'd like to hear them kind of expand and take that in their own direction, especially with the past of the members of that band. Next up, we have Obscure Burial with their self-titled release, Obscure Burial. This is blackened death metal out of Finland. And even though it's out of Finland, it is deep, deep rooted in some classic American bands. There is some Morbid Angel and Possessed worship going on this throughout. Fantastic stuff. I dig this quite a bit. Production, there's some production flaws here and there on this. Sometimes the drums feel a little lost in the mix, but other than that, fantastic release. This is Obscure Burial with Obscure Burial. Next up, we have some more black metal. Go figure. This is Temple Nightside with their debut full length Condemnation. This was released in 2013. I'm wanting to say they released a two more after this, a little bit more polished. This one has a kind of a raw feel to it. I do dig this. This is probably my favorite release that they've done. Their newest release is Recondemnation. I think that came out in 2017. I want to say I enjoyed that one quite a bit as well. This one is just entitled Condemnation. As I said, it's just kind of a raw black and death metal sound going on in this. Fantastic stuff. Next up, we have InterARMA. Their release that came out last year, Sulfur English, placed very, very high on my end of the year list. Kind of reopened my eyes to this band, wanted me to dig a little bit deeper into the discography of InterARMA. And going through that discography, I found this EP. I think this came out in 2013 or 2014. And this is probably one of the best things that I've heard so far from this band. This is just simply entitled The Cavern. They're kind of sludgy, black death post metal. I mean, it's so hard to pit to. They have so much different stuff going on. It's hard to kind of nail them down to a specific sound or a specific genre. Fantastic stuff. This is just one track on this. I believe the vinyl version had two sides, obviously, but on the CD you just got one track just entitled "The Cavern," and there's so many different parts to the Cavern that they were actually recorded at different times, but they were able to mix them and put it into the mix where it just flows pretty well. Obviously, it could have been split up, I think, into separate tracks, separate entities, but I really dig this. This is probably one of my favorite releases that they've done. Just one of those things that I can put on and just get lost in. Just like it's, I mean, the title of The Cavern is perfect for that, because it's just like getting lost in a cavern in a good way. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Next up, both the next two albums are from the same band. I actually bought all three of these albums together. Uh, this is an album that I when I first got into Facebook groups and that type of stuff, the buy, sell, trade, that type groups. I got ripped off on purchasing this CD, and that was back probably in 2013. Kind of left a foul taste in my mouth. I love this release, but The guy, at the time, I didn't know any better. Sent the stuff friends and family, just took my money, that type of stuff. And he's still pretty active in the groups, and a lot of people look up to him. So it's one of those, what can I do? I was still new to the groups, and nobody would have believed me anyway. But that, I'll just say, Mr. Davis, that's your last name. You know, you screwed me over that time, and screw you, buddy. I will never forget that. Anyway, we have Bolzer with their 2013 EP Aura. This is my favorite release from Bolzer. This is the one that never made it before. I was finally able to get my hands on this and just chalk it up and go ahead and purchase a copy of this. Fantastic EP, probably my favorite release, as I said, from Bolzer. Just kind of black metal, death metal, has some Celtic Frost worship going on this. Just enchanting, just an enchanting release. Fantastic stuff. Love this. Glad to have this in the collection now. I guess it's been 7 years. I can finally let that go and let Bolzer get into my collection. This is also from Bolzer. This is their full length entitled Hero. I believe this was their first full length. Just pretty good Swiss black and death metal. I don't like it as much as Aura. I think they kind of got in their own heads a little bit with this full length. It is good, don't get me wrong, but after hearing Aura, this was I almost felt like a step down. But still stoked to have this. It is something that I'll probably spend a little bit more time with, and I'm glad to have that in the collection. The last piece here, fantastic stuff. This is the reissue, obviously, but this is the Satanic Warmaster Archgoat split entitled Lux Satanae, 13 Hymns of Finnish Devil Worship. Amazing packaging on this through Hell's Headbangers. I love the fact that they split it up on 2 discs, with it being the split release. Sometimes these bands, although having similar themes, they have completely different sounds. When I'm into that, wanting to hear that Satanic Warmaster, cold, almost atmospheric, uh, rooted black metal sound, then that's what I want to throw on. When I want to put on that bludgeoning hellfire Death Doom, I mean, Death Black and Death done right. I listened to the Archgoat side. It is completely bludgeoning and fantastic stuff. Super stoked to have this in the collection. I would have loved to have the original with the purple lettering and stuff, but I'm still stoked just to have a copy of this in the collection. That's all I've got for today. As I said, I'm still working through stacks and stacks of stuff. I just don't want to overdo it, oversaturate, and I don't want you guys to sit there and have to hear me ramble on for 30 minutes every video. As I said, I'm going to put all these in the description. If you see something that you want to check out, definitely go do so. That's all I've got for today. Stay classy, stay metal. I will see you all very soon. I promise.